Hello, everyone. It's Friday. I hope you're having an amazing Friday. And it's office hours with iFind You Close. I am Felicia Jones, the lead researcher and founder of iFind You Close. And we do this every Friday for our members and for our guests to ask any questions that you have around speaking, pitching, getting on stage, live events, makeup tips, whatever that's concerning you at the moment. I've been like really working on the skincare. Kind of had it like the summer breakout period. It kind of happens to me every year. But I'm pretty excited to talk about today because we're going to talk about trends from events and planners. And I like to talk about the trends from events and planners because I like to go and see what event managers and event producers are doing so that we can adjust as speakers, not adjust to them, but also kind of take some tips from them for when we're going out and getting on stage when it comes to negotiating and making sure that we're getting the maximum amount as possible when it comes to exposure, getting our message across, all of those things, and being engaged with the event itself as well. Because it's so easy. I think in the olden days, like 2019, we would get a gig and we do our thing and then we peace out and go home versus now there's a whole lot of things that are going on with events. And I think it'll be best for us to always kind of be a part of that and know what's happening so that we can always get booked, we can get the best referrals, and also making sure that, we come out as, a great person to work with. So we're going to talk about that today. I got quite a pretty epic list of things. Of course, if you are watching and you have any questions, if you're watching inside of our iFind You Close platform, there's a button that says watch on YouTube. Click it, boom, and you'll be here. And you can put any of your questions and comments in the comment box. Also, for those of you who are watching on Eventbrite, thank you so very much. We're trying it out, and it's been working out very well. I love the new technology that Eventbrite put into place for virtual presentation. So thank you, Eventbrite. I've been asking for that for a couple of years now. But for those of you, same as well on Eventbrite. If you're watching, if you have questions, click that watch on YouTube button and just pop on over here. Any question you have, I'm here to answer it. But we're just going to go ahead and get started. And of course, if you are not a member, come join us. You'll get speaking gigs delivered to you every Monday. We've been doing it for 2 years now. Oh, yeah, we have been doing it over 2 years now. Look at us. Yay. Woo, so 2 years of a lot of events. A lot of events. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the trends that I'm seeing, researching from all these event people. So one of the things that's popping up is drive to events. This doesn't really, it kind of affects you as a speaker, but just kind of letting you know where a lot of events were going. Even last year was that they're gonna shift a lot of their marketing to local, because that's where you get the drive to events. You need people who are willing to drive. Now I know what the world appears versus the reality of what's happening in the world. The pandemic is still happening. I know for a lot of us here in the United States, we are kind of in the, oh, it's over, and we're using terminology like post-pandemic, but the reality is it is still kind of affecting us. I mean, we still haven't gone back to extremely large events, and I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. But the event industry is trying to get there, and they're doing all of these things, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. And one of the things is the drive to events, and what they're doing a lot more now, instead of trying to let's get everybody flying in, because we still have plenty of people from different countries who can't even get into the United States, and we still can't get to some countries in the rest of the world if you are a global speaker. So what a lot of things that are happening is drive to events. Also, even with speakers, it's getting a little easier to like get somebody who can drive 2 hours versus, you know what, we're not going to worry about you trying to fly in because we're having massive amounts of flight cancellations, issues. And then this also leads into the next thing that is affecting events: COVID safety. Like I said, even if you don't, even if you think we're post-pandemic, these things are going to be in place for a while. It's basically, you can call it germ safety, but COVID safety measures and having to deal with somebody who might have to quarantine, take a crazy amount of tests, all that stuff. It might be easier just to get someone who is local. And this is going to be the thing you are seeing with especially larger events. If you are one of those speakers who likes large events, large conferences, if you've gone to the events like I have that have 1,000 to 2,000 plus people, This is really going to affect you. If you're trying to do local stuff with the Chamber of Commerce or things in your area, you're going to get whatever you get. I did an event for the local chamber. Some people wore masks, some people didn't, and you're not going to get as many of these measures in place for kind of local events. Larger events have to deal with the insurance. There you go, insurance, because nobody wants to get sued for getting sick. Nobody. So what you're going to start seeing is a lot of COVID safety measures. They are now having, some large events are having COVID compliance officers. I'm not really sure what that means, but let's just, read the context. They're going to make sure everything's in place, from if you're wearing mask, if you're vaccinated, not vaccinated, what is that? Social distancing, all of that kind of stuff. Yes, it is still happening for some events. So this is going to be a thing that you're really going to have to pay attention to, and kind of just be flexible and working with it if this is an event that you really want to be a part of. But COVID safety is going to be a thing. A few weeks ago, somebody was asking, should we put in our details that we are vaccinated or market ourselves as a vaccinated speaker? I'm not sure that you have to go that far, but don't be surprised. Don't get angry. Don't flip out when somebody does ask you of your vaccination status. So I'm just warning you, because I know a lot of people, even if you're vaccinated or not, it is feeling like it's very personal health information. But I'm just letting you know, before you flip out and screw up a relationship with somebody, just be aware that this will probably be a thing that you're going to have to let people know about, and you might have to prove it. Woo! All right. Let's hope it doesn't get more than proving that, or if you have the flu and stuff like that, or not have the flu. But just be ready for some of these larger events, that things like this will be put in place, even for local events. So just be aware. The other thing, we talked about this last week, but this is something I want to talk about this again this week, and I'm going to kind of rehash this over and over again. Virtual is not going anywhere. We're seeing the extreme emergence of hybrid events, meaning events, a certain level of events, they are putting more money into virtual. And even, you'll be surprised, even for smaller events, they are putting what they can into running a hybrid event. Of course, it's always going to be around budget, money, and visibility of the event. But a lot of events are taking that next step, because what we've learned over the last year is events have always done well in the past, and they will always do well going forward. But we were able to tap into international and global audiences, and a lot of people didn't want to miss that again, because that global audience, that's somebody who's probably willing in a year or two to buy a plane ticket and come spend money with them. So what you're going to start seeing is more money in production. This can be good and bad for you as a speaker. Good in that you will, now when you're starting to negotiate for photos and videos, you should probably get a better quality video. Is also giving you more options as a speaker. For some of us who have enjoyed and loved virtual and have done very well, this is an option for you to just be a part of a virtual event and still do your thing and go about your life. But also you can, but for those who want to be live, you have the option to do that as well. Now, where I see the cons, and this is just me, the cons are that it is virtual and live at the same time. A lot of the events now, they're going from not having live virtual, but pre-recorded virtual, meaning you're going to have to do a few things a little bit differently if you're doing a pre-recorded video for something. You also need to ask, how is the placement going to happen? Is it going to be live person, your video, that type of thing? Are they going to air your video in front of the live audience? Will you have a breakout session? You gotta start asking all of these questions, because you want to see who has eyeballs on your video if you're going to be virtual. And then also whether or not they want you to engage the date of, if you're doing virtual as well. Now, for those who get the chance to go live, what we're seeing is fewer speakers live, a couple of keynotes, a couple of high visibility breakout sessions. This could mean you can negotiate pay a lot more. Even for breakout speakers, you can negotiate a lot more there. But also, events are very interesting in that they will blow their budget on a whole bunch of other things, and they never think twice about paying their speakers outside of that one keynote. So what may happen is that you'll see a lot of money being put into production and even less foresight into paying their speakers. Something to think about. And if it's going to be part of a hybrid, 9 times out of 10, if you are part of that virtual component, you probably aren't going to be you probably aren't going to be paid. So that's where you have to kind of be a little strategic with how you are doing your videos to make sure people get back to your website so that you can market yourself. So you really have to start looking at it because remember, our stance here at iFind You Close is speaking is used for marketing. That's it. Of course, you can get paid for speaking, but we're definitely, 80%. If you're going to speak, you got to have something to sell so you can market yourself. And you're going to have to just remember that as you go forward. I'm going to check my sound. Oh, we got sound. All right, so we've talked about that. The next thing is pre-event engagement. Now, we've talked about this 365 engagement where they're going to be marketing an event all year, giving you the opportunity to kind of be a part of it the whole year. That's another thing to think about, when you start doing these events and they're wanting engagement the entire time, how much of your time are you willing to give them? That's another thing you need to start asking when it comes to these events. Instead of just getting on stage, do you want me to do an article? Do you want me to be a part of video series? These are things you need to ask because that will determine what you need to start negotiating, what you're willing and not willing to do for the event. But we're seeing a lot of pre-event engagement. We're seeing pre-recorded videos before the event, which I think is actually really good to start getting your name out there, inviting people to your talk. Videos, we're seeing marketing videos, we're seeing like mini series workshops leading up to the large event. Like I said, this again, you need to ask questions because how do I say this gently? I can't say it gently. A lot of events, they have no issues using you as much as they can. So that's why you have to be very clear on what it is that they are expecting and what it is that you are expecting in return. So also with this pre-event engagement, we're seeing pre-mailed out swag to people. Even for the virtual events, you're seeing the pre-mailed out swag. This means if you're going to be a part of the swag bag, that means you have to prep your stuff and mail it to somebody else and then mail it to all these other people. This is where it's going to get interesting in that you're going to have to be a little bit smarter with your swag. Now, we've all been to conferences. We get that bag. I don't know if you're like me. Half of the bag gets thrown away as soon as I get into my hotel room. And we don't want that at home, where people are literally, oh, this is cute, trash. So you're going to have to start thinking about how you're going to, if your event is part of pre-event swag, what is it that you're going to provide of value? Now, of course, this requires money on your part and some marketing know-how to figure out what it is that people are wanting. And I honestly think the olden days of, I don't even have one, of just putting flyers into a swag bag, that's probably out. So my choice would be some branded wine openers, but that's just me. Or bottle openers. I will keep a bottle opener. So just things to think about when it comes to pre-event engagement. And the last thing I want to talk about is influencers in your space. Oh, I know this is a very interesting one because I know some of us speakers, we kind of float the line between influencer, speaker, business owner. So we're kind of a little bit of all of that. But I'm going to talk about ones we know are explicitly influencers. They haven't really been on I hate to say words like the speaking circuit. It's not really a circuit, but they haven't really put themselves out there as speakers. Now, what has happened over the last year, some events, they tapped into their influencer marketing to get those people to kind of keep their event or their product or their service or their business up and floating, which is good for them. But it also means when they're coming back to having live events, guess who they're grabbing to come and talk about sales? An influencer. To come talk about mindset, an influencer. Which is nothing negative. It's just something to really think about as a speaker when others are, I would say encroaching on the space that you have had. Because as much as we like to hate on influencers, they come with a lot of power. They come with a lot of followers, and they come with people that are really paying attention. So I really want you to kind of think about what that is going to look like, and not be surprised when you see someone who kind of appeared out of nowhere to to get on stage, but also know that they a lot of events are just like anybody else. They're trying to make money off of the event, and they want butts and seats. So when you need butts and seats, meaning you need people to buy tickets, you need somebody that's going to bring their audience with them. So that's why you will start seeing influencers, celebrity influencers. Celebrities have always had this ability to do this, but now that we're seeing influencers do it, it can make things a little bit more interesting for us as speakers. Now, I'm not saying you got to go add a influencer component to your business, but I would just say over the next 6 months until the end of the year, start paying attention to how you want to do things, or extremely niche down in your area of expertise, and be sure to make sure that you are known even more. Put your name out there so people don't forget about you. And yeah, it is unfortunate if people with minimal experience can come in and start commanding more than those of us who have experience, of those of you who have been doing this for years and years. And hopefully you have done a very good job of, keeping in front of people to keep those referrals going so that you don't have to run into this. But just something to think about when you are coming to events, or when you're starting to go back to events, and you really want to get on that keynote stage, and just pay attention to how that person got on that stage. Now, I'll finish this up. This is all I have. Of course, if you have any questions about anything, please just drop them in the comment box. But for those of you who are going local, you may not see a lot of this in the local speaking gigs. They still rely on content, but don't be surprised. A lot of local chambers, networking groups, community groups, they suffered financially and member wise during the pandemic as well. So they are doing whatever they can to get butts and seats to build up their membership. So don't be surprised if you see, maybe not like a big time influencer, but local influencers coming in and encroaching on your space as well, because everybody's trying to go big or go home, especially capitalizing off of the fact that people are freely making it rain with their dollars, and they are freely and willing to go places to do things at this moment outside of vacation. So that's all I have for you when it comes to the trends from events and planners. Of course, if you are not a member of iFind You Close and you're looking for speaking opportunities, I would love for you to join us. Please go ahead and sign up. We would love for you to kind of take part in all these opportunities that we have. Also, our summer workshop series is in full effect. Yesterday, we had Jillian Stearns came by and talked about funding your business through grants and other programs. It's quite eye-opening and quite intense on what it takes to get the grants, but they're giving away $80 million a year. So why not jump on this? We had like a couple of little tech glitches, but user error there. But it was actually a really good session. The week before, we talked about marketing and growing your business through public speaking. And next week, we're talking about creating passive and multiple streams of income as a speaker. That's going to be fun. So it's just going to be me talking about all the different things that I've noticed and things that I have done to bring in those multiple streams of income and unlearn a few things from what we did before the pandemic, meaning putting all of our eggs in one basket. So come check us out. You can go over to ifindyouclose.com/summer-workshops to see what else is going on. And I think we do have a travel the world as a speaker. That is probably my most fun talk that I love giving. So we're going to talk about that as well. All right. Take care of yourself. If you have questions, put them in the comment box. I will see the notifications, but don't go party too hard. I will see you next Friday. Bye.